Thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com. With us back again, Tom Cloud, CloudHardAssets.com. Tom, good to have you here on USAWatchdog.com.
Greg, it's always a pleasure to be with you. We've gone back a long way and been through a lot together over the last 3 decades.
That's right. I've known you since the mid-'80s, but your investment career spans 35 years. You know all about the investment world, particularly silver and gold. You have 2,000 high net worth clients that have at least $1 million in net worth, and about 500 or 600 of those with 20 million plus of net worth. Doesn't count your institutional clients. You know a lot about the physical gold and silver arena. What's going on with this German announcement that they want 300 tons and another 300 tons, a little more than that, from France? But why did they make this public announcement? They could call up the Fed and say, hey, listen, we'd like this on the QT. There's no duty for the Germans to make an announcement. There's no duty for them to lay out this elaborate 7-year plan to get 300 measly tons of their gold back. What do you suppose is going on? What does this mean?
Well, it can mean a lot of different things, Greg. It's not just a one situation. I mean, right off the bat, when you see someone like Bill Gross at PIMCO come out and said this is really a disagreement between central banks, people are now starting to pull away and take care of themselves. They're not worried. It's not the good old boy network that we grew up in this investment world. It's now you take care of yourself, you take care of your shareholders, and you don't want to be the last guy holding the bag when this gold gets shifted. But the problem you look at is the cost of this. If you move this over and you're talking about 60 different shipments it would take to move it from the U.S. with full insurance value, and the cost of that is who's paying it? What was the deal like when it was set up? How much did Germany buy it FOB, or was it bought and the U.S. had to ship it in the future? These are things we don't know that are crucial to this, and the more we find out about it, it looks almost like the China deal where the U.S. went over there and even had Nancy Pelosi over there in 2011, had treasury bills and gold involved, and we just don't know. But what we do know is that France is smart enough to get all theirs gone and have it moved back to Germany. I don't think they want to be in this debacle long term.
Well, what does that say about the trust issue? I mean, when you say they don't want to be left holding the bag, are you insinuating like a couple of anchors last week on Smart Money, or on one of the money shows, I think Options Trader or something, on CNBC, a couple of the anchors on CNBC who are traders, and they were questioning whether or not the Fed actually has their gold clear title, that they haven't sold it or resold it, or there's several people that have, claims on one bar, so to speak. Is that what you're talking about, holding the bag?
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about holding the bag because there's, even just when they came over and had pictures, and those pictures hit the internet where one number was claimed by 3 different people. We're seeing the leasing situation. We still got the tungsten situation that is still out there. I mean, this thing is not resolved in China or Germany. So you look at it and you know that whatever the premium that our government is paying, and when I say premium, it could be money, it could be gold, it could be treasury bills, but some kind of premium to keep this story down and not let it get out of control. But you then look at the German economists. They've even got involved. Why does the German economists come in against the people? The people are saying, us be safe, us bring our gold home, we're the second largest gold holder in the world. For your listeners that don't know,
Germany.
The United States has 26% of the world's known gold supply, and Germany has 11. So these are the 2 biggest guys playing, but they're trying to be on the same team because they have the interest. But, where can you go and keep everything in the focus? And that's what we're seeing going on right now. And I think information will continue to come out on this over the next few weeks and months and years, that something's going to come back with more numbers claiming, at least people taking. And how about the Netherlands? Nobody's even talking about it. But the Netherlands is talking about taking all of theirs back, and while they're a small percentage compared to it, I mean, I would agree with the experts. Chavez in Venezuela did nothing except just bring it as an availability. A lot of companies use it as a sales thing. Hey, you need to buy this because Chavez is taking his gold back. But I didn't ever look at it that way. It was a small, radical guy, smart to take his gold back, not a problem. But I don't look at that the same way I look at the Netherlands, and certainly not Germany.
Well, why did they make a big deal out of the announcement, the 7 years? I mean, are they sending a message to the Fed that, hey, we want our gold back, and we don't trust you to give it back to you, and you better make it right to us? Is that what they're saying? No question about it.
And we made the same deal in treasuries with the Chinese and the Japanese. It's no different. This is just a different product. It's still gold. It's money. And, everybody knows, Greg, the one thing that I've learned in 35 years of romping around this world and meeting with people in every aspect of this business is everybody knows the end results is he who holds the gold at the end of all this debt and all this fiat currency and quantitative easing. And it's all a jockeying for position to get the gold back. But the question is, like you said, the two guys asked last week, how much the gold is really there in the U.S. in particular is being a question a lot more than any other country because we're holding most of it. So these are questions, but you're going to see people continually work toward getting their gold back in their hands, and then someday when we're back on the gold standard, because once again, it is the only investment in the world that every country can agree on the value of.
Well, do you think that Germany's gold, where they have something like 1,500 tons, on deposit at the Federal Reserve in New York, do you think their gold is there and unencumbered?
That's a question of speculation. I certainly have seen experts on both sides of it. Even when Ron Paul got into it, we had the group coming out saying, we think it's just the opposite. We think they don't want you to know because they can print money and buy it for $90 an ounce and put it in our Fed for the future. And then when gold becomes money in the next decade, then we're still the largest gold owner in the world. Well, that kind of ran rampant for a while. And you think about it, that's not a bad idea if you're quantitative easing, printing money out of nowhere, to be buying some gold, a percentage of it, and building up your gold reserves. But on the other hand, Ron Paul thought and had reason to believe that it wasn't all there. So either way was bad. But I personally don't have any insight into either way.
Do you think this announcement by Germany, this is the last question on Germany, and we'll move on. Do you think this is bullish for gold?
Oh, absolutely. It's just showing central banks aren't turning it over anymore. People like Bill Gross is talking about, percentage. This is the biggest bond manager in the world. And even though we did not get the Basel III ratified to make gold a Tier 1 investment, which was very disappointing for all gold dealers, but to me it really wasn't because it just gives us more time to get our clients into it. So, I think once they go back to Basel III and move gold to a Tier 1 investment that was talked about last fall but never happened in January, it just gives us more time to get more physical gold in our clients' hands. But, I'm now seeing countries buying gold that are talking to me on the fiscal level. We've got institutions. We've got banks buying gold, the heaviest they've ever bought it. And certainly the biggest part of my business that's growing is financial money managers, consultants calling and saying, we want an ETF, but we don't want GLD. We want an ETF of physical gold that we know is there. And we can help people with that to where they literally have their own ETF and have it stored for free. And it's something we're happy to talk to our people that are talking about $250,000 and above.
Do you have any banks coming to you or any big institutional clients coming to you saying, we'd like to sell our gold now, we think it's topped out?
Not a single one, Greg. And yet, being in this business, the way things get shaken loose, I had a client call today, just to change gears a little bit. He said, you think silver's a good buy right here with the shortage? I said, absolutely. He said, when it gets to 35, 36, will it go back to 45, 48 real quick? And I said, no. There's a price where day traders and people shake out. We'll have to go through another drop and a rebuilding. This is not an automatic rush up, whether it's gold or silver. We're going to continue to have people out there that are going to, they'll sell physical silver when it gets to 36 or 7 or 38 spot price and get their premium, take the money off the table for a while. And that's where it's going to continue to move. It's never going to change. That's always been the same. But there will be a time that we'll get a parabolic rise, but we're not there yet.
Well, what does it tell you that the U.S. Mint in the first 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks, I think on the 18th, they announced that they were suspending sales, they were cleaned out. What does that tell you about, I think, one-day sales of more than 4 million ounces of silver? What does that tell you about the silver market?
Well, it's crazy, Greg, because you look at the same day they suspend sales and raise the price 50 cents an ounce, which is about 1.5% premium to us as a dealer. J.P. Morgan's out buying tens of thousands of ounces of physical silver, no problem. And you just sit there and shake your head. You know, what is going on when the U.S. Mint can't buy silver, and yet J.P. Morgan and others can go out there and buy large quantities of it. It tells me there's a severe shortage, and certainly having dealt in this thing as long as I have and talking to suppliers of both 1 ounce products as well as 100 ounce COMEX bars as well as 1,000 ounce bars, there is a real shortage out there. And the more money they print, you've got the industrial buyer competing with the investor. You've got 2 tiers that you don't see as much in gold as you do in silver. And that's the reason you get more volatility in silver. But also, if you think your economy is going to grow and Japanese are going to be buying more electronics the next 10 years, you're going to go in and buy silver for industrial uses down the road. And that's where you're going to get a parabolic rise, is when the investor sees and the institutional guy, industrial guy says, we're going to have an inflationary growth. We've got to buy that silver now. And you'll see them digging trenches in China and putting silver in there just like they did coal back 2 decades ago. So that's where we're headed with this thing.
How can J.P. Morgan buy all that silver? Are they really buying physical silver, or are they buying paper silver? I mean, they're buying an unbelievable amount of money in one day. Yeah,
they say they're buying physical, but who knows? I mean, I don't. Once again, it's funny. All these years of business.
Wait, hold on a minute. If you had the money and you had billions of dollars, could you go out and locate that much silver in a week?
No, I couldn't. No possible way. You know, I had a wholesaler I've known for 30 years, and he accumulated like 116 bags of junk silver. And he got a call one day, and had a call for, I think he told me $3 million. Somebody wanted junk silver, and they took all of his bags. And just literally in the last month and a half, the premium that I'm having to pay for junk silver from different sources has gone up about 75 cents, 2.5%, just on the premium before I put a markup on it and sell it. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. But no, I couldn't go out and buy that kind of silver. I would have no way to go out. And what's funny, in all the years of doing this, I guess the people that sell to J.P. Morgan are sworn to secrecy, but I've never met any wholesaler that sells silver to them that I know of.
And you're pretty connected in that world. I mean, aren't you?
I'm pretty connected. I'm not the most connected, but I'm certainly pretty connected.
Last short question. The $1 trillion coin, a platinum coin to balance the budget. And my question to you is, okay, I can't even believe that bona fide academics are even giving this any serious look. But if the same $1 trillion coin idea happened in, well, let's say Venezuela, how would we view them? And how's the world going to view the United States if they pull that stunt?
Well, they're not going to pull the stunt. I mean, it's already out. They're not going to pull the stunt. But we would look at it as craziness if anybody else did that but us. But you got to remember, when you see the inauguration this week and you see Paul Ryan booed, anybody wants to balance the budget and not give people more giveaways, they're booed. And it's the same mentality with this coin. They don't care what it is, $1 trillion coin or $1 trillion garbage bag, if it gets a large percent, 13% of the workforce now drawing unemployment. 13%. These are under numbers. 47% of America getting food stamps. How about the deficit doubling in less than 4 years? We're looking at unprecedented things, Greg, and people just aren't thinking straight. All they're thinking about is, what can I get free? And, next thing, like Gerald Celente says, it's going to be a war among classes. That's the next thing this thing is evolving to, without question.
Tom Cloud, cloudhardassets.com. Thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Always a pleasure to be with you.